Hello everyone, welcome back to Around the Farm. We're heading down to the shop today to fix some stuff. I don't think I made a video about it, but I had to get corn this winter and to fill a smaller bin, and I decided to use the bigger auger so that I wouldn't have to go as close to the bin because of the snow and everything. Anyways, so I decided to use the bigger auger. Well, when I was on my way back to the pasture with it to park it, I have kind of a tight corner that I had to make, and basically what happened was the tractor started sliding sideways and the auger kept going straight, and so then the hitch of the auger hit the tire of the tractor and bent the hitch. And so it shouldn't be too bad of a fix, but we're just going to get to it here and get her done. I had to push this hunk of junk out of the way. For those of you that watched my backyard junkyard video, I was wrong on my story here. I thought this was one of the cars that came in that trade, but he actually bought this one to turn it into a race car, and this one may be for sale or may not, I don't know yet, but he's going to turn this one into an enduro car, and then he's also getting another car like this and an enduro car in on a trade. And so there's a motor over there that's coming with the trade that'll have to be rebuilt and put in a car, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. It was just in my way, so I had to move it. But I apologize in advance for the wind noise. It's kind of a brisk, windy day here in South Dakota. But we'll show you what's going on here. If you can see how that hitch is bent. So I just have to basically try and straighten that out. Shouldn't be too bad. And then we're going to completely rebuild this system up front here. I'm going to get an actual bearing for that, I think. And then I might try and find some old corn crib panel or something to rebuild that guard over the top of there. But yeah, I'll probably just set up a time lapse of this. It don't do me any good to talk since the wind is so loud, but we'll get to going here. Alright YouTube, we're going to see if we can't work smarter instead of harder. And so what I'm going to do is, I just realized that if you look down at the bottom there, there's a couple of bolts, and that whole pipe actually comes out of there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that pipe out and pull the hitch out of it, because the hitch itself is straight. This hitch sticks in here, you know, probably to about right where it started to bend. And so we'll pull the hitch out of it, pull that pipe out of it, and then what we're going to try and do is straighten it in the press. And if we have to apply a little bit of a heat to it, then we can. But using the press sure beats the hell out of banging on it with a hammer. So I'm going to buzz that off of there quick. I got my tires chocked up, so this thing shouldn't roll down the hill. I guess if it does, it'll make for good video, but hopefully not. But we're going to get that buzzed off of there quick. Alright guys, we got her off, and we're back here by the press. I'm going to have to crank her down a bit. I really like this press. I don't know if it's homemade or if it's store-bought or what the deal. It almost looks homemade, but if it was homemade, it was well done. And anyways, the one thing I don't like about it is I've dealt with some presses before where you've got like a turn deal up top, so you can crank it down with that, and then once you're on the metal, you can start using the press. But this one unfortunately doesn't have that. And so I can either block this up, or I can just crank this down, and I actually might put a block underneath it so I don't bend it too far, and then I might even try and put a block above it so I don't bend it too far that way. But I'll see if I can get the camera set up here. Alright guys, unfortunately that's not working either. If you can see there, all it's actually doing is just crushing the tube. And so I think what we're going to do is see if I got any more of this pipe on the shelf back there. And if I've got more of it, we're just going to replace this piece. If not, then we might have to pick some up, because I just don't think it's worth messing around trying to straighten this piece out when all it is a piece of pipe with 3 holes drilled in it. So we'll see what we got on the shelf back there and go from there. Alright guys, thankfully we did have a piece of tubing. And the only problem is it's a little thicker walled, but the inside diameter is the same, so the hitch will still slide into it. So we're going to go ahead and get her cut here quick, and then we'll start drilling the holes that need to be drilled in it, and then we'll get it all put back together. Alright YouTube, I got that new pipe in there, and my holes lined up almost perfect, which I was pretty surprised by. I didn't think it was going to work that good. But I just had to ream the one of them out just a tiny little bit with the die grinder, and it worked just great. And so the only thing I have left to do is the hitch was too narrow, and so we could only hook it to like the 30-10 and the 40-20, and the hitch wouldn't work with the 706s because they have a big fat hitch. And so what I did was I took the gas torch and I just hacked the top part of that hitch off, which was bent anyway, so it needed to come off. And what I'm just going to do is I'm going to find a piece of flat, whatever size it needs to be, and weld that on there, and then I'll weld that plate back on there, making the hitch a little bit wider so that that we can hook up to it with the other tractors. So I'll do that, and then I'll get her all put back together for you guys to see. All right, guys, there she is, all wrapped up. I was thinking about rebuilding this part right here because it is pretty floppy, but for as little as we use the auger, it probably isn't necessary. You know, if it was something where we were on a big farm and we were using it all the time, I'd probably put a bearing in it. And there's no reason that bushing here couldn't still be hacked off and a bearing be added to that. But for now, I just straightened everything out and welded it back together. And yeah, so we'll call that good for now. Hopefully it doesn't break again. But thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.